What are you convinced people are pretending to enjoy? When Rosa Parks died, her funeral service was supposed to be 3 hours long. That seemed needlessly long to me, but she's an American hero, so maybe a longer service made sense. Instead, it lasted over 7 hours. And you know that's because every preacher and every politician and every celebrity wanted to brag about speaking at Rosa Parks' funeral. It seemed horribly self-indulgent to me. It became less about her and more. Did you see what I said about her? I grew up going to Catholic Mass. 30 to 45 minutes, then it's off to get donuts. The long masses are on holidays, and usually there's fire or baptisms involved, so we're filling that time with something. What do people even do at day-long services? Is the pastor really talking the whole time? As my girls were heading into middle school, we sat down and discussed what it meant to be a drama monster. That term really worked well to help us communicate and begin labeling behavior that is toxic. Some people just act that way all the time, and with this definition the girls were able to make smart friend choices. And in the years since, they've caught me a few times and cautioned me against being my own version of a drama monster. I wish I instilled that in my niece. She was a great kid, but now she's a drama monster and no family member can stand to be around her. Generally, the room goes silent when she's around because everyone is afraid she'll twist our words and jokes to become the victim. She's an adult, she's not obligated to attend any family function unless it takes place at the family's house where she lives. Yes, she bounces around family because she's too intolerable for one household and not independent enough to leave. We just sit here tortured hoping she'll get new meds, but meds don't fix character flaws. My mom used to be like this, but we all sat her down and explained how her behavior affects us and why we don't come to visit. She's still a bit victim-like, but she's not the same selfish woman from the 90s. I think when you get older, family becomes important if they aren't horrible people. Someone explained this once and it made a lot of sense, so I'm gonna try, but it'll most likely be SHT. Loud music fills in awkward silences and covers up social faux pas in an environment where mixing and mingling is encouraged. It helps facilitate you king up with Jenny because she doesn't realize you're a terrible conversationalist since the music covers it up. Loud music forces people to talk more loudly and about simpler subjects. So it has the effect of filtering out serious subjects and shifting focus to the more excitable language, flirtatious language, etc. Basically like your example with Jenny. I personally enjoy it, if it's the right time and place. Not at a restaurant. But if there's a dance floor, sure. But I've got friends who hate it, because they always prefer calmer conversations, so loud places aren't for them. So many times I've been in my office since coming back from lockdown and I've wanted to say, look, can we cut the office chat, and if I ask you how your life is going, that you give me an honest answer? LinkedIn takes the vacuous nature of being in an office and multiplies it by 10. The virtue signaling people do on there just to feign the value they think they offer to the world is an issue that people have allowed to go on way too long on social media. I use it as a place to keep my professional network intact and to post my resume so people can ping me. Twice now I've used offers I got through LinkedIn to get a match from my employer. The past 2 years in particular, I've had dozens of people reach out to me about legit offers. Ignore all the bullshit and just focus on employment, and it's a good tool. Use it as a social network and, surprise, you get FB level drama. LinkedIn is a great tool if you use it for what it should be used for. When I was 23, one of my favorite people to hang out with was at least in her late 60s, if not early 70s. She'd get so angry with her new computer, this was the late 90s, and so I was always the one who would help her out. One day she was fuming, and she says, "Do you like to drink?" That's what I do. I go home, I smoke, have a drink, and listen to music. I said, "I like that too." "Good," she said. "You should come over." And I did. She taught me how to make brandy Manhattans. I'd play bartender, she'd play old jazz records and Dean Martin, etc., and we'd talk about our lives, hers being much more interesting to hear about, until we got hungry and made turkey sandwiches. Carol, I miss you. Good times. Virtually all of my friends in my life, since I was 14, have been people who are 15 to 50 years older than I am. They do pass on too soon, but all the memories of those life stories I learned about. Each one is something like the end of the film Titanic when you see the adventures in the life of Rose. My sister thinks that my life/friends are pathetic, but when I see her around all her alcoholic friends, I'm totally convinced that she and they are only pretending to have a good time. Maintaining their jobs as YouTube, TikTok, Instagram personalities. I briefly had mild success with a channel on 10 years ago, and it was nowhere near the level things are now. And I see the production value and the regularity of some of the content. And I just think how much pressure these folks feel to feed the machine or perish. Being a content creator sucks. When you start, it's kind of a passion project, which is great. Ideas are fresh, and inspiration comes naturally. When you get traction and find a formula that clicks, it becomes more about pushing content that generates as much traffic, likes, shares, and subs as possible. When this happens, your original ideas become more and more manufactured and less authentic, which takes the joy out of the creative process, making it feel like a job you hate. Yeah, you see YouTubers starting off doing things they like, then all of a sudden, one of their videos gets a ton of likes and that becomes their niche and about all they do for the next few years. You see it with a lot of Minecraft streamers where they only play the one game for years. One of the creators I like started off playing games for YouTube, and then he made a video where he taught how to build a PC that got a lot of likes. Now all of his videos are PC build guides because doing what he loved wasn't getting him good money. There's an interesting TED Talk about this phenomenon, how people's minds, especially children's, are being shaped by algorithms. If a YouTube creator's video gets promoted by the algorithm, they shape their content to match it, which, because it's popular, causes the algorithm to seek out similar content which it promotes, and so on and so forth in a vicious circle. Apparently, it's affecting our development both mentally and socially, and could cause big problems down the line. In entertainment as well as many other areas, our world is already being silently shaped by AI. Edit, for those thinking/replying that this is not different to past supply and demand, I recommend watching the video. The point the speaker makes is that we do not fully understand the algorithm, even its creators cannot exactly control it. And, because it is AI, it can't distinguish between what is and isn't appropriate content for children. As a result, children are being exposed to things they wouldn't otherwise be exposed to. The example the speaker makes is a kid can be watching Disney videos and be taken to a video of Mickey Mouse. Anyone can make these videos. There is no way to fully regulate that. So, a video could be made by someone responsible, or it could be made by a troll or simply by machine software spewing out content for views. On top of that, with the continuous play option, we are exposed to endless streaming content which affects everyone but especially kids' development. These are the ways in which algorithms are a new societal concept and is shaping people. We are leaving regulation to AI, which doesn't currently have the capacity to regulate. It happened to one of the streamers I used to watch. His name is Foe and he streams old school RuneScape. For a little while, when World of Warcraft Classic first released, he started playing and streaming that, and it seemed like he was having a great time with it. One of my friends did some dungeons with him and it sounded like both of them had a great time. A lot of his viewers only watched him for his RuneScape stuff though, and he eventually had to fall back into that. I'm not sure if he felt like he had to or if he had his fill of WoW and just came back to RuneScape naturally, but I imagine that it was more of the former. You just explained the feeling way better than I could. I especially remember constantly checking my phone for notifications after I posted something. The first hour or so I would have a ton of anxiety waiting for things to ramp up. And if something didn't do well, I'd just be thinking, I thought this was good, where did I go wrong? There was definitely a lot of imposter syndrome going on there. I was terrified of just being a one-hit wonder. Very sorry to hear that you got so burnt out on something you clearly love so much. Good luck finding your fun again. It seems like you have a good perspective on what wasn't working before. That can be a great tool in making sure you do what works for you going forward.